All right, let's talk about architecting a modern internal developer platform, or IDP. We're going to break down how you can take that tangled, complex maze of cloud services and turn it into a clear, simple, golden path for your developers. Let's get right into it. So it all really starts with a question that I bet every engineering leader is grappling with. You've got these brilliant developers, right? And they're using the best services from AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. You've got this awesome multi-cloud strategy, but for the developer on the ground, a lot of the time this feels less like a strategy and more like a puzzle with a bunch of missing pieces.
And that puzzle, that's what we call the multi-cloud maze. It's the day-to-day reality for developers trying to find their way through multiple cloud environments. And each one has its own APIs, its own security models, its own weird deployment quirks. It's complex, and honestly, it's slowing everybody down. And if we break down that complexity, you get these really tangible, painful problems. We're talking about serious cognitive overload. Developers suddenly have to be experts in everything, and that's just not realistic. This leads to inconsistent deployment patterns, which of course means security and compliance starts to drift. And the basics? Things like onboarding a new engineer or just spinning up a test environment, that becomes a multi-day, ticket-driven nightmare. That's operational friction, and it is the absolute enemy of speed.
So, how do you solve this maze? Well, you don't actually get rid of it. Instead, you build a clear, paved road right through the middle of it, and that is the Golden Path solution. The vehicle that drives on that road, that's your internal developer platform. See, it's all about guiding developers, not locking them in. Now, this is a super crucial point to get right, understanding what an IDP is and what it isn't. It is a product for your internal customers, your developers. It's not just a collection of wiki pages and shell scripts. It's a curated layer that sits on top of the cloud APIs. It's not some rigid, one-size-fits-all thing that tries to replace them. It's really focused on creating those golden paths for your most common workflows.
So a golden path is exactly what it sounds like. It's the well-lit, paved, and fully supported way to get something done. Want to build a new microservice? Here's the golden path for that. It has all the security, the observability, and the deployment patterns already built right in. It embeds your company's best practices by default. It just makes the right way the easy way. And this quote right here, it just nails it. The goal isn't to hide the cloud completely. It's to curate the experience. It's to handle all the repetitive, complex, and error-prone stuff that comes with interacting with cloud infrastructure. That way, your developers can focus on what they do best, writing code that actually delivers business value.
Okay, so we know why we need an IDP. But what is it actually made of? Let's take a look under the hood at the anatomy of a modern platform and break it down into its core pieces.
So any well-architected IDP is really built on 5 main pillars. It all starts with a self-service interface, a portal or a CLI that acts as the front door. Behind that door, you've got the templates and the golden paths we just talked about. Those then plug into standardized CI/CD pipelines that handle all the build and deploy logic. And all of this is powered by an infrastructure abstraction layer that deals with the nitty-gritty cloud-specific details. And finally, tying it all together is observability, which gives you that absolutely critical feedback loop. And let's just pause on that last point for a second, because it is so important. In a modern IDP, observability, we're talking logs, metrics, and traces, it's not an add-on. It is not something a developer has to figure out how to set up for every single new service. No, it is a fundamental, first-class feature of the platform provided completely out of the box.
Okay, let's make this feel real. Forget the abstract architecture for a minute. I want you to imagine a new developer on their very first day. How does the IDP completely change their experience?
This, right here, is the magic of the platform. Instead of filing 5 different tickets and waiting, the developer just logs into a single portal, they select the back-end API golden path, they provide maybe a couple of inputs like the service name, and they click Go. Then behind the scenes, the IDP provisions everything across any cloud, the repos, the CI/CD pipelines, the infrastructure, and it deploys a Hello World app with all the security and observability already baked in. A process that used to take days, maybe even weeks, now literally takes minutes.
The vision is so powerful, right? But actually building an IDP, that's a journey. So for our last section, let's look at how to build it the right way, focusing on what you should do, and just as importantly, what you should definitely avoid.
So over on the left, you see the traps. Don't treat your platform like some rigid internal framework that nobody wants to use. Definitely don't ignore developer feedback. It's a product, remember? And please, don't try to build everything all at once. Then on the right, this is how you measure success. You're not measuring lines of code, you're measuring outcomes.
How fast can a developer get their first deployment out the door? Are people actually using your golden paths? Are developers happier? And are you seeing fewer incidents in production? These are the metrics that truly matter.
And that brings us to the final and most crucial question you have to ask yourself when you're building an IDP. Are you creating a golden pathway that truly empowers your developers and makes their lives easier? Or are you building a golden cage, a rigid set of rules that stifles innovation and forces everyone down one single, unchangeable path? The best platforms, they find that balance. They provide those opinionated defaults while still allowing for escape hatches when they're truly needed. And that, right there, is the art of platform engineering.